Let's get started. So thanks for coming, hola, to this session on Einstein Analytics. I called it the art of the possible. I'm going to be showing some different use cases and features that I think you should be using. My name is Rikke Hovgaard, and I'm an Einstein Analytics solution architect with Salesforce. I've been in the Salesforce ecosystem for about 6 years. Probably a little bit more. Mainly on the partner side, so I've been building. And I started out in the core side of the platform and moved then over to marketing automation. And for the last 3 years or so, I've been looking at the Einstein Analytics side of things. Just joined Salesforce, so yeah, up until pretty much a month ago, I've been doing the partner side. When I started out with Einstein Analytics, there wasn't actually that much help to get. So one of the things that I also ended up doing was, seeking out the community, which is also why I want to give back now. And I also have a blog where I blog about Einstein Analytics and giving you different solutions. So since I am Salesforce, or not I, but work there, I do have to give you the slide. You already saw it today, and I'm sure you're going to see it again at one point. Basically, if you're looking to purchase anything, any products, please do so on what is currently available in the platform. And then on to that. So what am I trying to do today? Well, I have 4 goals for this session today. The first thing is I want to give an introduction and kind of let you know what is Einstein Analytics. Then I want to share with you some of the key components, some of the key concepts that we have to remember when we work in a platform. I have then created a dashboard that have a lot of different features and use cases that I want to share with you. And then I know I'm going to show you a lot, and you're probably not going to remember everything, at least not how to do it. So I want to give you some resources so you can go ahead, go home, and try and play with this yourself. So first of all, what is Einstein Analytics? Some might know it as Wave. It is the same thing. So it's Salesforce's advanced analytics platform. So it's an add-on to your core sales and service cloud. And it allows, of course, to bring your data from sales and service into the analytics platform. But it also allows you to take third-party data, if you want to, and bring it into the platform. And once you have it there, you can slice and dice your data just as you want to. What's even more cool about these dashboards are you can make them actionable. So once you're finding your insights, you can actually make sure you act on that insight as well. Some of the key concepts that we have to remember, I tried to put in. There are many more, but this is just kind of the flow that I wanted to make sure that you had down. So as I said, you can bring in third-party data. So if we look over here, we had our databases. You can pull that into the platform. We also have our CSV files. A lot of customers have CSV files everywhere they want to bring in. You can do that as well. And then, of course, we can bring in our Salesforce data. We do that in what we call the data flow. And in the data flow, we can do our extract, we can do some transformations, and then we register it into a data set. This data set consists of your measures, your dimensions, and that's where you're doing all your exploration from. So once we do a single exploration of our data set, that becomes a lens, so here in the middle. If we have a collection of all those explorations together, that's what we call a dashboard. And in all these elements that you're seeing, the data set, the lenses, and the dashboard, they're placed within an analytic app. And that's where you kind of find all your elements, and it controls your security as well. So enough about the platform. I know it's fast, but let's go into some of the more cool stuff, some of the features and the common use cases that you can do with the platform. So I've listed up a few things here. I don't need to go into details with what's up on the slide, but basically, as I said, I have some features that I want to show that I think you should include into your dashboards, but also some of these use cases. I'm going to go through every single one of them in more detail. So the first thing is the embedded dashboard. So a lot of the time, we have our reports and we have our workflows separate. With this platform, you can actually embed all your dashboards into the Salesforce platform. So you're bringing the insight to the user. The user don't actually have to go and look for it. It's not siloed away somewhere. So that's one of the really good things. The other thing is, once it's there, you can make it actionable. So you can actually get your insight, and then you can act on it. So let's have a look at how that actually looks in the platform. So here, this is the dashboard that I've designed for today. And as you can see, it's in the regular home page. I can embed it anywhere. I can embed it both. Also, if you're using Classic, this is Lightning, but if you're using Classic, this feature is available as well. One of the good things about Einstein Analytics is the filters are working a little bit different. It's way more interactive. So I can basically click anything. So maybe I want to click on Barcelona and see what's actually going on here. And once I'm clicked, the data changes to match that. So let's just unclick that. And then let's have a look at one of my account executives. So I'm going to click at Chris and see how he's doing. So I can actually see over here in my top 5 best case opportunities, so case or opportunities that not yet closed, that there's one here that's really good. So maybe I actually want to encourage him to close this. So if I click here on the opportunity name, I can click a new, any global actions that you have will be available here, but I just want to put a chatter post here. It opens it up. Slow internet, there we go. And I can then encourage him. So maybe this is not probably the way you want to put it in, but please close this one now. Exclamation point. And then click OK. So you can now see it's been created. And if I just want to follow up on this opportunity and see how it looks, I can also click here again, and I can open the record. So it takes me directly to the record that we're interested in. And if I go over to the chatter post, you can now see that my chatter posts have been populated directly to the record as well. So this is a really cool way for you to make your dashboards more actionable and pretty much bring it to where the user needs it. Cool. So that way. So the next thing I wanted to show is custom maps. So whenever we're looking at dashboards, how we visually see it's really important. And when you can put stuff into a map, it's making it more interesting. It's making it more, insightful. So you can create custom maps to portray your data. Now here I created from scratch a custom map of Spain. It could be anything. I've seen examples of a guitar, of let's say a store map. A retail store if you want to do that. There's even a sample on the community of a cow. So if that's something you want to do, you can definitely do it, as long as it just matches your business, I guess. So how do we do this? Well, let's go back into my demo. And this time, I'm going to go into my edit mode here. And once I'm in here, I can click on my widget. Yeah, I knew it was going to do that. Don't worry, it's fine. If I go down here to the map parameter of my widget, I can choose any map I want. So I could have chosen maybe Europe. It's not going to show me anything here just because your data that you're grouping by has to match with whatever the you have in the values you have in your map. And I'm not using countries, so it's not going to find anything. But you can also create all your other. If we just go down here, you can see I have a couple of custom maps. And if I switch to the Spain, that's where it comes up. So how do we do this? What is it actually that is making this possible? Well, this is where I'm probably going to scare you a little bit now, but this is how you do it. So there's a lot of numbers to make up how the shape of your map is actually going to look like. And yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. But don't be freaked out. This is just the back end of what you actually need to go in. There's tools to get you to do this. The point I'm trying to make here, once you have this file, you want to make sure that the name in this file needs to map to whatever you have in your grouping. So for me, I'm mapping the name with Barcelona or any of the other regions that you have for a city. Okay, so once you have this file, you go into the back end and you upload that file. And once it's in here, then it's available on the platform. This, again, forward-looking statement, if you look at the release notes, this should change so it's directly available in the UI of Einstein Analytics and not in the backend, so you don't have to fiddle around with this naming up here. Again, yeah, this should become a little bit easier, but you still need your file. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at is this one. It looks probably something that you've created in operational reporting. This is a really cool use case that when I worked a lot with operational report, everybody told me, how can I do this? Dynamic gauge. So let's say we have a quota and we want the breakpoints to match that quota. You can't do that in standard reporting, but you can actually do it here. And it's fairly simple to do it. So what we actually want to do is we want to calculate first our breakpoints. Once we have that, we're going to bind those results into our graph. So let's have a look at how we do that. So first of all, let's just have a look here, just so we can see how it works. I have my dynamic gauge, and if I again choose Chris, you can see he's actually performing quite well. But if I look at a specific month, let's say take February, not so well. And all this is actually changing on the fly. So how do we do that? I go in, I'm in my edit mode still, and what I want to do is I want to calculate my breakpoints from my quota data set. So if I click on my create step, I choose my quota data set, and once I'm in here, I want to switch to compare table. So when you want to do anything with calculations, compare table is your go-to place. So in my gauge charts, I have my max, I have my high, I have my medium, and I have my min. My min I don't care about because I want that to be 0, but the 3 other ones I want to calculate. So the very first thing is I want to change count of rows to sum of quota amount. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to have 3 of those. There we go. Now I want to go into my the first one here, and I want to edit this column. And the only thing I want to do here is just put max. It's already calculated. It's the maximum you can actually have. I'm going to hit apply, and I'm going to move to the next one. So now I'm in my B column, and here I'm going to call that high. And down here you see I actually have a way to do my calculations. So for me, I want to take my A column, and I want to divide that by with 3. And multiply by 2, because I want to have 2/3. Once I have that, I'm going to hit apply, and you can see over here it's actually changed. Is this too tiny, by the way? Can you see? Everybody see? It's okay? Good. So once you have that, you can see over here it's changed, but I'm having a lot of decimals. So I want to round that up, and I'm just going to do round. So you can use different functions and hit apply, and hopefully you can see now it's changed. I'm going to move over to my C, and I'm going to call that, I'm just going to do this for laziness, and I will then do my A column, divide by 3 again, and whoops, sorry. And I'm going to put the round around this one as well. There we go. I hit apply. And that's basically all we have to do here. Now we have our calculations. So, oh, just one more thing, good practice, always rename your step, because else you're going to have a hard time finding it when you have a lot of steps. So I'm going to call this demo breakpoint. And done. If we go over here to the right, you can now see I have my demo breakpoint. That is the step I've just created. And now I want to bind it into my gauge. So if I click on it, I can see that this step, it's called quota actual step. So I'm going to copy that. Actually, I'm going to copy this one up here. And I'm going to go into the back end. So I will now go in here. I'll just do a quick search. And I need to find a chart. So here, I can actually see that this is my chart 2. And I'm just going to zoom in, so hopefully. And now, of course, I lost it. So where is it? There we go. So what I've done is I've taken the result. So this is what I already did before, but imagine this was the demo one. I put that in, the result of that one, put it in as the medium, okay? I have the same thing for max. I have the same thing for high down here. And my min, that's just 0. I'm not doing anything about that. And that's all you have to do in order to make that dynamic. So the next thing is static steps. So if you want to start making specific selections within your dashboard that is empowering your user and kind of give them some flexibility, that's where static steps are really powerful. In my example here, if we go back, and let me just clear this out. I have my stage and my forecast category, and I can switch between them, and the data is changing on the fly. It's basically just passing away, like the grouping, changing that. You can do that anything for measures, for grouping, limits, filters, and it's just really giving your users some cool options. Okay, so how do we do it? Again, that's always the big question. So again, I want to create a new step. So in here, instead of choosing one of my data sets, I just go down here. There's one that is called Create Static Step, and I'm going to click on that. So I'm going to call this Demo Static. And we now need to give what is the end user going to see. And I want them to see opportunity stage. And then what is the API name? So what is the backend going to, what are we going to pass in of that field? And this is going to be, I know it's stage name. And I'm just going to click add. The next thing is, let's do opti type. Oh. And I'm just going to call that type here as well. And then add. And you can add, of course, as many. Whoops. You can add as many as you want. Once you have it in here, should be down here, static. So static step, I can pull that in, and then you can start selecting between it. Now, for my case here, I want to go back and I want to bind it to my opportunity stage. So this one here, oh, sorry. This one here, I want to make sure that that's now passing the new grouping that we have created here. So I want to know what is the name. It's stage name. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to switch back into the JSON. Kind of click my find. And this is here. Yes, here. So this is my step, and where it says the grouping, instead of just having whatever, that dynamically I want to be passed in, I'm just, again, similar to what we did with the gauge, putting in, instead of a result, I'm doing a selection. So whenever you select something, that's when I want to take from that step and pass it in. So that's all you're doing. And that's static step. Whoops, that way. So another cool use case that I see is, how can I compare my year-to-date result from this year with last year? And this is, again, where compare tables come in. So in here in the platform, if we just show it, we can see that in here it's actually comparing my year-to-date with year-to-date last year. And this is then grouped by, I think it's type, lead source, sorry. So within the platform, again, we're going to create a new step. I'm going to choose my opportunity account data set. I'm going to switch to my compare table. And in here, I want to do my sum of amount plus my sum of amount. So I want to have two columns. And then I want to add a few filters. So here, I want to say add a filter. And I want to have close date. And I'm going to choose relative to now. I'm going to go and choose day. I'm just going to switch it back to 7 days. Add. And I have that. And I want to do the same thing for this one here. Well, I want to change the filter a little bit, but basically also choose a close date, relative to now. And I'm going to keep this on the year. And I'm just going to say 1 year ago till now. And add. I could add my groupings if I wanted to as well. I'm just going to keep it simple for now. So I'm going to have my year-to-date of all, and then year-to-date from last year of all. So this is not quite what we wanted, right? So what we want to do is we can actually switch over to SACL mode. And SACL is the backend. So this is kind of the language that Einstein Analytics is using. So sometimes we have to switch in, and you don't have to go into the backend. We actually have a SACL mode here. So you can get the compare table to do the heavy lifting, but then you can do your modifications in here as well. So you can see here, I have two streams. I have my one column and I have my other column, so A and B. And over here, I have my filters. So I chose 7 days ago to current day. So what I want to do instead, I'm going to say current year, whoops, if I can spell, to current day. And then here, I want to say 1 year ago to current day minus 1 year. There you go. And I can hit run, and hopefully I'm getting the result. You can see, so this is changing down here. And if I wanted to rename it, I can also say this one is just year to date. And this one is year to date last year. And then if we run it again, you can see that's changed. I can, if I want to, go back and show this as a column. I can go in and modify this. Oh, not that one, that one. And I can go in and say single axis. I can go in and do my changes. So no need to go in the back end. You can actually do your modifications in SQL right here. Once I'm done, I can just click this one, demo, year to date, and then done. And then it's ready to be pulled into your dashboard. Hope it sounds simple. Looks simple, right? So pages, that's another cool feature that has been enabled in the platform. So one of the good things about pages, it's relatively new. I think it was last or 2 releases ago. And what it allows you to do is actually have navigation within your dashboard. So sometimes when you have dashboard, they can become quite heavy. They can come, there's a lot of different graphs in there, and it can be quite confusing for the end user to look at. And it allows you to kind of make it a more compact layout that you can then also, I find it easier to embed into a Salesforce page, and it also easing the navigation. So if we switch back into my demo, whoops, that one here. A lot of pages, a lot of different windows to work around then. So how does that work? Well, you know, you've seen me switch on all these ones. Those are just different pages. This is just different things. And if I just, bear with me, zoom out a little bit, then I also have another page down here. So maybe I do my filter. Maybe I want to look at Barcelona. And I can then expand my table. And I just get the result from that. And when I'm done looking at the details, I close it away, and I have my graph. So this is a really interactive way to kind of work with pages. And the cool thing about it as well, if you have a lot of things going on your dashboard, this is actually helping the performance as well, because it's only loading what is actually on that page. So it's really helpful. So how do we do it? Well, in here you can see I have these different tabs. Those are all different pages. So right now I'm maxed it out, but normally there's a plus sign here, and you can click it, and then that's when it starts going into your different, you have different tabs, then you can then move your widget around on. I think, again, looking at the summer release notes, there's going to be 20 pages, so it's going to be a lot more, and you can do all kinds of fun stuff with that. So let's say we want this graph here, because on the stage it's not there, it's not on the gauge. So let's say if I wanted to move that to another place, all I have to do is click on it, and down here you can see there's the move at. I can just move it to a page, or I can add it to several different places pages at once, and then hit apply. I'm just going to cancel here, but that's how easy it is. Start using that. That's really helpful. Now we've seen a lot of things in the dashboard, so I just wanted to take you away from the dashboard and into the data layer as well, because everything is possible as long as we have data, right? That's, well, everything. Maybe not everything, but a lot is possible as long as we have data. And so let's have a look at this data flow that we use to get data from Salesforce into Einstein Analytics. One of the typical things that I always do is I will start looking at creating compute expressions. And that might sound a little, whoa, what's that all about? So let's take a use case first and then see how we can apply it. I keep doing that. So I have actually, let's have a look at this one first. So down here, I have my stage, and this is all great. This is in a correct order. That's the same thing I have here. You can see, or this is the incorrect, sorry. So you can see here, I'm looking at closed lost. That's the very first step. That doesn't really follow the right order. Now, what I want to see is I want to see here, I want to start with prospecting, qualification, and I want to end up with closed, right? So how do we do that? Well, we can move into the data manager, and this is where we're doing everything with our data. In here I have my data flow and my recipes, and if I click on my dreamOlé, I have a very simple way of getting my data in, or my very simple data flow. So here, this is all my extract. This is all the objects I'm pulling in from Salesforce. I'm then doing different augments, or joins kinda, to join them together into one flat file. And then I finally over here register it. And then I have created this compute field here. If I click on that and click on stage name, I've just created a new field in here saying stage name. And I called it, labeled this as a numbered stage. And then I've chosen a text type. And then I started actually creating a case statement. It's kind of like an if statement in Salesforce. So all I'm doing is if stage name is prospecting, then name it 01 prospecting, and so forth. And then in the end, I just do an else. If you can't find it, then call it 11 others. And then I can use that number to actually get the correct sorting. So I'm going to click save, and that's all there is to compute expressions. So you can do a lot of different things in here, so I encourage you to play around. So I know we've covered a lot of things today. Hopefully you still think it's relatively simple, but I'm also aware that when you come back, it's going to be hard for you to remember what was the different steps. So I created just a blog with a lot of links to different places, some of my own blogs, but also videos to inspire you. So have a look at that when you get back, and then you can create something similar. Oh, sorry, should I just go back and let you have the pictures? Cool? Awesome. So if you want to get more general with Einstein Analytics, how can I get more information? Head to Trailhead. There's a lot of different trails there. They're really good. Then go and look at the help and training. There's a lot of documentation as well. Then there's the learning map. That's actually a really good thing, because every time you're going in different stages of the dashboard build, it has the different relevant documentation there. So have a look at that one as well. Then we have Learning Adventure app, really good if you want to start doing those bindings. It's giving you a lot of different examples and showing how to do it. And then go to the Trailblazer community. There's a group there specifically for Einstein Analytics, and a lot of help. So if you're stuck, start posting it in there. There's a lot of people helping you out. And then since this is a community event, I wanted to highlight a few things that I think you should check out. Obviously my own blog, because that's about Einstein Analytics, so have a look there. But I can also recommend Pete Lyon's YouTube channel, really good examples, and also Carl Brunnett's Cloud Thoughts blog. It's also really good, some good examples in that one as well. So have a look at those two. And that was it. Questions?
How can you try it out, analytics?
You can, again, if you go to Trailhead, there is, if you find some of the specific trails for Einstein Analytics, especially the beginning ones, it has a link in there how you create a demo org. The regular demo orgs that you create do not have Einstein Analytics, but when you click that, you can easily get it. So yeah, then you're up and running. There's some features that are not available, like trending reports, but other than that, they're there.
Do you have any places that you go to get data to play with?
Mockaroo. So I mean, your Trailhead accounts come with something, yeah. But for instance,
there's a data set that is already prepared.
Yeah, so it does come with something. But for instance, I had to do the custom map, and it's not going to match anything if I don't have any Spanish region. So I had to generate some custom. So I just went to Mockaroo, really good way to just generate different data. You can do it for anything anything Salesforce where you want to test it out. It's really good.